they look nice, and technically they look very good, but I hate them.
If you start up a new company and you want or need some software to run your business, it is often the case that people think that they need to build this large application to manage their business, or to test out, just to start up their business. But usually what end up happening is they go to some investor and try to get some money because they need to build an application, because they need to verify that their business case is valid. And they spend like 100,000 building this application, and then the customer isn't interested. And then they go bankrupt. So that is kind of a sad scenario. And I often try to intervene to tell these young people starting new businesses that try to validate the use case before you actually spend a ton of money building an application. Use some pre-existing software. You can.
But you have to explain something to me here.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about startups and software to run the startup. Now, first of all, I don't suppose you here are talking about, for instance, a general ledger system like that, like C5 or something like that. It's some kind of software that has to do with the business idea.
Yeah, two different cases of software I'm thinking about here. The first one is that software that the entire business will rely on. Kind of the business idea is a piece of software. And the second one is where the software will aid the business in some way, perhaps managing some processes or something like that internally in the business, but it's not the core of the business. So the case I'm making is primarily for the startups where the software application is the key for the startup to work. It is a software startup. And in those cases, you want to use as much already existing software as you can to validate. Often it revolves around creating a community of people providing a service to that community. And you can go as simple as starting a Facebook group, inviting people to the Facebook group. There are software for having courses online that you can just register for and use. Or if your customers are more in tune to speaking on LinkedIn, then use a LinkedIn group. So try to find your customers, create a group on some social platform. That is not the optimal way to continue, but it is a good way to validate your business idea.
Well, I would think that unless your business idea is about making software, then the important thing for you is not what kind of software you're running, but the content you have. Yeah. What are you actually selling?
Yeah.
And that's the important thing, and not whatever thing. And I mean, I don't know if that's what you're saying, but if people comes to you and say, well, we think we need this and this and this in order to be successful with our business, and one of the answers might be, no, you don't.
Yeah, exactly. That's usually my answer when startups come and say, oh, we need this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's that would be good approach, actually, to say, no, get something out there, and concentrate on the content. Yeah. Now I say content, but what I mean, what are you actually selling? I mean, whatever that might be.
And you can actually just make a simple website where you state, these are the things I'm aiming to provide. Are you interested in being part of this project? Then you can sign up and perhaps donate some money to verify that you actually are interested in me pursuing this.
We have we have some bicycles in Denmark. In Copenhagen, there's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the name, but they're terrorizing everyone. You know, they're electric bikes. They go about 50 kilometers an hour. They've got tires as wide as lorry tires. You know,
Yeah.
they started some years ago, I remember, on Facebook, saying, we got this idea.
Yeah.
You want to help? Then you can buy one of our bicycles, and you pay up front 5,000 kroner and you'll get one when eventually we actually
Yeah.
manufacture them.
It's a typical Kickstarter approach.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And then I would say Facebook is probably an ideal platform to use for that.
Yeah. To rally supporters. Yeah.
But they look nice, you know, and technically they look very good, you know, but I hate them.
Yeah.
But that's a good example, actually, of concentrating on your product and not on whatever things with the
Yeah.
software that you think that you need.
And also self-publishing books
Yeah.
has been more and more used these days, where you can basically start by asking people, I want to write this book about, and then line out basically the chapters, and then ask people to fund the book so you can spend time writing it.
Mm.
But of course, then you might need to have, they need to know you and know that you can perform something on this topic and produce
Actually
a book.
write the book. Yes.
Yeah.
That's worthwhile reading.
Yeah.
How about website?
Yeah.
Because that's also very, I would think very common thing, you know, to think, okay, we have this company, we want to sell this product, we need a website.
Yeah.
And one of the things I always think, yeah, okay, you got this nice website, but how on earth are you going to make anybody look at it? I mean, that would be a nice thing to know. How to attract people to your website? What do you advise people, startups in that context?
Yeah, it's good to have a website, but I wouldn't focus too much on that. I would rather try to focus on social media. What you need is an email list to all your customers, because you can lose all of them if you have a social media and just rely on posting on social media to access your audience. So you really want a place where your customers can opt in and deliver their email address, so you can contact them regardless of what Facebook or whatever platform decides to do with your content. So those are the kind of main keys. But have a website. If it's only for a product, then display the product on the website. You might even want to set up a web shop so you can buy or provide links to whoever is selling your product, and then focus on promoting the product on different social media platforms and build a following.
It isn't possible to make a website in Facebook yet, is it?
Make a
web shop in Facebook?
Oh, well, they have started this platform where you can buy and sell stuff, but I'm not sure if it's. But they do have some features. I might need to look into that.
But you see, there's been some news in Danish newspapers regarding Sweden the past couple of days.
Okay.
And whether it's good news or bad news depends on how you see it. The news are that Amazon is going to establish itself in Sweden.
Oh yeah.
And depending on you, who you are, you know, you're very happy or you're very unhappy about this. But they were interviewing different kinds of people about this. And it seems that on the short run, anyway, everybody agrees that this is great for the consumer. If you want to buy something, Amazon is a great platform.
Yeah.
But what about the shops? What happens with them? And some of the interviewees answered that, well, then we have to do everything better than Amazon, or we have to specialize, or we have to deliver more service, and so on. But they asked one guy who sold shoes,
Yeah.
and he said, well, if it wasn't for Amazon, I wouldn't have a business.
No.
Because he's selling everything on Amazon.
Yeah.
And as far as I've found out, the way it works is that you have a business of some kind, you sell whatever.
Yeah.
And you go to Amazon and say, I want to sell this stuff on your platform.
Yeah.
So Amazon will show your product. And for instance, if you want to buy, well, like shoes, that's the guy told you, you will see a list of companies that sell shoes, and you will see the price of the shoe.
Yeah.
And you could decide where you want to buy them.
The thing is that on a platform like Amazon, if you are the only guy selling shoes, you're the winner. No one will compete with you. But as soon as a lot of different companies start selling shoes on Amazon, Amazon is the winner, because
yeah,
because many shoe stores on Amazon will make sure that people go to Amazon and make a search for shoes, because then they will find all the different shoes they might look at. It doesn't matter who is the seller, because the customers only want to look at shoes.
mm-hmm.
So the small business who hope that they can sell shoes on Amazon in the future might end up having to work hard on their reputation score to be a good company on Amazon. They might have to work hard on presenting their shoes in a good way so they look appetizing for the buyer, because this might actually give a ton of new job for photographers that are good at taking nice photos of shoes. And the way you present them and how you write about the shoes, the copy in the ads on Amazon, will also have a great impact on if your shoes get sold or not. So
but suppose you had your own website,
then
all the stuff you just said goes for that as well. If your website looks crappy, it's probably a crappy product you sell.
Yeah, but if people get used to buying shoes on Amazon, they will stop visiting your website. So they won't visit your website anymore, because they can find your shoes and a bunch of other stores' shoes on Amazon. So they'd rather go there.
So what would you recommend to a startup?
Oh, the startup, I would recommend go to Amazon directly, because you can start with only the fee for sales, and you don't even have to start your own web shop. You can just have it there. Then, of course, you might end up in a situation where you get a bad score and Amazon removes you from their store, but that's another issue, and then you've made some bad deals with your customers.
Yeah, I think the probably what will nag you most is whether you want to share your profit with Amazon or not. But then, as we started this conversation, if the alternative is that you have to set up your own web shop, and I mean, you can buy web shops, I know that, but you also need to manage some kind of internet payment on the web shop. So it's not just done, you also have to make an agreement with whoever is providing the payment service. And then when you have your nifty web shop, you have to find out how to attract people to it.
And Amazon can also manage the transportation for you, the warehousing.
Yes, everything actually. So I would certainly consider, for instance, if I was going to sell something like gratitude stones or whatever, I would probably choose Amazon.
This might also mean bad business for the web shop providers.
Oh, yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. But the point is, well, we've got this saying, you know, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the issue here.
And I think that the regular stores where you go visit and look at your clothes and shoes or what have you, they will not be as impacted by Amazon coming here. I don't think so, because the people who want to touch and feel the things before they buy, they do not go to the web shops, and they will not go to Amazon either in the same sense. There will be a steady flow of people moving towards buying online as Amazon grows bigger and bigger, but that is not as rapid as I think it will be for the one who has web shops today, and all of a sudden everyone is buying through Amazon instead of through different web shops. But maybe this is a wrap up for this video.
Yeah.
I think we covered these subjects. See you next week.
Yes.